Y'all, this your boy EC22. Listen, you guys have heard it. We've seen the games that happened on this past weekend, and everybody has been saying it. At least a few people has been saying it. The NFL is rigged. What do you think? Let's dive on into it. Yo, this your boy EC22 of the Fan with the Fan channel, man. We are here for another podcast. And as always, we got your favorite Philly fan in the house. He's back to his tagline, Fly Eagles Fly. I guess he's finally got over the embarrassment of his team losing. And I think we all have kind of got over our teams right now, heading to the Super Bowl, getting ready for that. But Max, what's been going on, bro?
I'm still not over it. I'm not over it, man. Not over it at all.
Hey, man, that's room at the table at the Fan with the Fan channel, man. You already here, but hey, I understand, man. Who you rooting for the Super Bowl, if anybody?
We'll discuss that later on in the video because I have a lot of reasons that might not make sense, but I'm going with them.
Hey. Before we jump into today's topic, I wanted to kind of go ahead and get over it and talk about the title of this video, The NFL is Rigged. Have you been hearing some of that chirping in the league so far as what we've seen out of the Cowboys, your team? We watched how the Baltimore Ravens just kind of gave up and didn't come out to play, and then we saw the shenanigans over in Detroit. What are your thoughts? Well, the Detroit and San Francisco game.
I mean, people are saying it's rigged, but at the same time, I don't really think it's up to an extent. It might be rigged with the officiating, but up to that, I don't think the players are in on it like people say they might be in on it.
Bruh, it's for me. It's easier to say the NFL is rigged when your team lost, and the way your team lost. Obviously, the Cowboys lost, and that it felt the way the players were playing. It just felt like something was different. Something was off, right? When you hear coaches get up there and talk about how their game plan just didn't work, and then you hear the commentators talking about what it's like in these moments, and how bad you feel and stuff like that, it make you question maybe it's not rigged. But I'm gonna still stick. I don't know how rigged it is, but I think a lot of it, maybe not rigged, but scripted. I mean, I guess that's the same thing, rigged and scripted. I just felt like a lot of it is scripted. It just don't make any sense to me. If anybody out there want to leave a comment on how they feel about it, man, please do so. But man, jumping into, we're gonna do the AFC and the NFC West division. I mean, South division team. That's the one we have left. So this is the roundup, y'all. If y'all didn't know, this was a series going on that was going to do the AFC and the NFC, North, East, West, and South teams, trying to figure out what they need to do to get better. This is the last part of that series. If you wanted to see what our opinions were with the other divisions, the North, South, and the East, the North, West, and the East, you can check out a previous podcast, but we're doing the South divisions right now. Let's start off with the NFC. NFC, they need a lot of help over the NFC. So, let me pull it up real quick. So the NFC, the Carolina Panthers.
Get your quarterback some help. Get real defense. And good luck to whoever's coaching that team, because that coach is probably gonna be out in the next 2 seasons if he does not turn that program all the way around, because these days, team owners run out of patience. They give guys 2-3 years to turn it around. Some guys are even getting fired within their first year. So,
absolutely,
I feel bad for whoever takes this job, because you have no draft capital. You do have money, but the players want to come and play for your team, knowing the situation your team is in. I don't think they will, unless you're gonna overpay for players. It's going to be real hard for you to get any real game changers on your team this next season.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Hmm. For me, the Carolina. What's up, cousin? My cousin Xavier just chimed in. What's up, cuz? Um, Carolina Panther. Obviously, they didn't quite have the success I think they wanted. And I don't. When you do draft a rookie quarterback, I don't know exactly how much success you expect to have, especially considering the position that they were in prior to. You know what I'm saying? Prior to the season, so, getting their quarterback young. So we'll see what the next couple of years, like you said, is going to really be more important for them. Obviously, we see the success of CJ Stroud, and the type of team they had, and and the type of season Anthony Richardson could have had he stayed there the whole season. So, hey, cuz we're doing pretty good, man. Thank you for watching, bro. Doing pretty good. Um, so they're still in rebuilding phase. I'm thinking maybe, definitely not next year, but maybe the year after next, to see some uptick. I mean, no, they should see some uptick in 2024 season, but I think they'll be a true playoff contender the year follow after that. You know what I'm saying? I don't have any high expectation for them. Now this other team is just the Atlanta Falcons.
Figure out your quarterback situations because you kept on starting the quarterback, benching him, starting him again, benching him, starting him again. How can you expect consistency from a guy that you're constantly bringing up and constantly putting on the bench? The best way to learn is throw him to a fire and see what happens. And they're
Right,
giving
right.
up too easily. They threw him in the fire. He got burnt. Oh, let's take him out. No, leave him in there. He he needs to build that.
he said
He needs to build that character, man.
you say leave them in the fire, let them cook.
Exactly. Diamonds
There
are
ain't no
made in the rough, man. That's how you know
diamonds.
if your
Yeah,
team got it or not.
yeah,
How
ab-
you respond to it after the collapse
yeah,
tells a lot about you. And then benching
absolutely.
him, I mentally that's that's probably training him a lot, man. Because it's like, am I the
Yeah,
guy or am I not?
yeah, they do got to figure out their quarterback situation. Are they going to go with him? Or are they going to look for something else? Definitely, if they're going to keep him, they definitely need to get some type of veteran leadership over there to help out. Whether you play him or not, at least somebody to give this kid some advice as far as what to expect. Because what they had last year in leadership wasn't great. Moving up to the New Orleans Saints.
All these teams need a quarterback, man. Derek Carr
I,
is
you know,
not
the,
the answer there.
I mean, he still. I want I've been a fan of Derek Carr for quite some time, but he just haven't seemed quite to live up to the expectation. So you get hype for. I mean, the kid can ball. He can ball. He can throw the ball. I just don't understand why he's not as good as he can be. Um, but I mean, man, Michael Thomas going out yet again. Played a few games going out. I mean, I think it's time for them to go ahead and just cut ties with Michael Thomas. I mean, and that may sound surprising to some folks. We're still talking about Michael Thomas after all these years, but I mean, just part ways with him. Alvin Kamara, um, the way they treat running backs, you know, I mean, he had a so year, but
And he has enough.
um, you know what's so crazy? Because what's been the standard going around the league right now, and there's not a lot of them, is tackles, guards, and tackles. That's been like, you don't got a lot of, and like in the free agent pool, the only one, the top guard is Tyron Smith. You know what I'm saying? So offensive lineman is Tyron Smith. A lot of these defensive guys are on contract, but I don't expect any of these guys' offense to get better anytime soon because there's just not a lot unless they go off there and dig down into the second and third round of the draft to try to get some guys. But on free agent, it's not a lot going on. Um, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers obviously re-signed Mike Evans, right? He wants to be there. Or do Mike Evans go and look for a contender? Because obviously Tampa Bay is not a Super Bowl contender by no means.
I would say sign Baker Mayfield and roll with Chris Godwin and see what that leads you. Mike Evans Just go somewhere else, man. You'll probably fit in well with the Kansas City Chiefs receivers because they don't know how to catch in good, in good points of the game. Critical moments.
That
He had a couple against the Eagles. He didn't catch, so he fits in with that locker room over there in Kansas City.
is he still a number? So will he be looking to be a number one receiver wherever he go? If he goes to a championship contending team, will he be looking to be the number one,
I mean,
or should
if
he?
you if you're trying to win a ring, it doesn't matter you should just be number two wide receiver, mentor your young wide receivers. It's all about winning at this point for him. Might as well settle for
Yeah,
whatever you can and try to get that ring if you really want another ring. But if you don't want the ring, then just settle with whoever gives you the most money and just go along with it.
yeah. I kind of feeling that Mike Evans is gonna go for the money. I just at this point, um, you go. I mean, unless it's Kansas City who needs a number one receiver, maybe over there. But then again, you talking about, let's say if Kansas City win the Super Bowl, and then you go resign, and then you go sign a Mike Evans. It's like it's Super Bowl to bust with that team. Prime time spots. Mike Evans, finally get to play on, saying again with a top tier quarterback. He had Brady for a little while, but I mean, that's a lot of pressure, and let's not ignore the fact that Mike Evans been dropping balls this season. So ain't like so hey, let's not ignore that. Ain't like I don't know if he's still on. He's getting older. He's getting older. He's been dropping balls, and so I don't know.
He's been costing me money on price picks as well, man.
Man, he's been costing everybody money on Prize Pick. Hey, moving on to the AFC South division, the Tennessee Titans.
Draft a running back. You need an offensive line.
Obviously,
You need a wide. Well, basically work on your whole entire offense and figure out who
yeah,
you want under center. Because apparently you have
yeah,
found him, but depends on how you build around him will determine if you think this guy is going to be your quarterback of future or not.
yeah. That's the crazy thing about it. I mean, because Will Levis, they got him. They got a new coach over there, Brian Callahan, who's looking forward to working with um uh Will Levis over there. Uh they obviously need a running back. They need at least a couple wide receivers, tight end, what I'm saying? They need a tackle. I mean, they need some cornerbacks. They need a whole lot that's going on. Derrick Henry is a free agent. More than likely he won't sign there. Makes no sense. Ryan Tannehill won't be coming back, obviously, because they put all their effort into Will Levis. So he'll be a free agent, maybe go to one of them teams that probably need a quarterback. Um, and here's the hard one. They may be potentially cutting D Hopkins due to salary cap, not wanting to pay him the money. That's a big hit. Because outside of D Hopkins, I mean, I know you got some other people, but I mean, there's really nothing else over there unless they're gonna really, really uh dive into the draft and get some receivers. So
Right. And you got pretty much a new head coach and see what direction he wants to go. Build through the draft or get someone free agent.
but I think they're positioned pretty well in their draft too. They got money. They got, I think, over almost $80 million in salary cap. They got, I think, the number the seventh pick overall, and an early second round pick. So I mean, they got good position in the draft to rebuild his team. Even so, knowing that they're going to lose Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill and then possibly cutting D Hopkins, I mean, it just make. I mean, they're in a position to win the draft. Now, how it's going to work for them, only the next season will tell. um, Let me pull up this real. No, 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 no. I don't want to do
That
that.
this coming up season's
Go ahead.
gonna pretty much tell you that they made the right choice to fire Mike Pravo or not, man.
Oh, firing their coach.
hmm This season's gonna show whether they should just cut them through the rebuild process or they made the right choice by getting rid of him.
Yeah. Once again, we're having some technical difficulties with Max's. I don't know if it's my end or Max end. I don't know. But anyway, moving on to the next team on that list will be the Indianapolis Colts.
Find out what you got in Anthony Richardson. I mean, Anthony. Hopefully,
Yeah, his
he can go the whole season without any injuries and see if he's at
yeah
100% or if this injury is gonna set him back.
Yeah, the health of Anthony Richardson is definitely a must. I mean, whatever they need to do, break the bank to make this kid get healthy because he is a baller. The kid is a baller, and he need to do what he need to do as far as his training regimen, stuff like that, to keep him healthy as well. But man, defense, they need a cornerback, safety, and edge rusher. You know, you know, and then of course on the offensive side, they need a tight end and wide receiver. Um, and they
Uh,
got some guys over there, but you know,
sure.
Jonathan Allen gonna need. I mean, Jonathan Taylor gonna need some help. Just at the end of the day, he gonna need more help than what the Colts have put around him in recent years. I mean, because you got him, the guy wasn't. I mean, it's still one of the best backs in the league. You got a nice young rookie talent there, and then you're talking about just barely missing the playoffs with Gardner Minshew. You know what I'm saying? So it was like they got a squad over there. You know what I'm saying? So they are definitely not as far away as people think. They are pretty much right there at the door of being, a championship contender. And I like it. I like it for them. The Jaguars, another team who was basically was in the playoffs and then lost and then lost it. They did it to themselves. But this is what they do. I mean, last year they had a pretty decent run. This year they just fell short of winning their division. Um, mm,
Though Peterson needs to look himself in the mirror and figure out what can I do to improve this team. Because
yeah,
honestly, this team shouldn't be needing any improvements because it's ready to contend with anyone. But it's just they
right.
just can't get it right when it comes down to it. Like, do they need a motivational speaker? Like, what do they need to fire up everything inside of them to get fired up and just go out there and perform and do their job, man?
Dude, and you took the words right out of my mouth, like no cap. It's like literally, I did everything I could in researching to find out the truth behind what can make the Jaguars better. And it's like it's almost like spinning a yarn. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we can talk about, them hopefully trying to re-sign Ezra Cleveland, one of their guards. But he's a free agent, so he may jump ship, they may stay, they don't know. And also they're looking at one of the other guards, um with that Brandon Sheriff, the right guard, just Sheriff, he's expected to make 16 million, which is a lot of money. They may let him go to save some salary cap, but it's like, I mean, what you gonna get for him? You know what I'm saying? Hey, you got receivers. Calvin Ridley, free agent. That's definitely a must sign. That's a definitely and this guy has been underrated receiver for a long time, you know, and he wants to go to a Super Bowl contending team. Do he jump ship, or would you jump ship, or would you stay right there?
I was showing chip, man. They're showing that
You would jump ship?
they're showing that they're consistently good at upsetting their fan base by not playing when they're supposed to play, man.
Yeah.
This
So
team was better. This team was playing better when Blake Bortles was at quarterback, even though he was sorry.
Wow, that's so crazy. Um, Moving on to the Texans. Um, I'm gonna take this one. It's like when those old school video games used to play, like Atari and Sega and Nintendo, where you just hit the reset button. That's kind of what what the Houston Texans gonna be doing. I mean, this team surprised the whole league. Nobody expected this team to be this good. Uh, and it's just been amazing to watch. Just do it again. Whatever you had this year, duplicate that season and just, improve on what you can improve on. And everybody beware because this team is coming. The Houston Texans is coming. H-Town is coming. Uh, what got them lost is experience. That's the only thing that Baltimore had to beat them was just the lack of experience. And you can see the way Baltimore, how they handled KC. Obviously, they didn't. So Houston, Texas would have beat KC. And then, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, I think the Houston Texans would have destroyed Kansas City and they would have took care of business. But that's just what it is. A young D'Amico Ryan coach coming out. The rookie. Here comes Jonathan G. He's jumping into this live. G, what's going on, bro?
What's up, bro? What's up, man?
Chilling, man.
Have I came in the meat of the conversation?
Oh, you're good, man.
We haven't quite. We talked a little bit about the NFL's rig, but
we haven't gotten into details.
All right, well, man.
G,
yeah.
Hold on, G. Do you have a pair of earphones or something? Because their feedback is coming through.
No, man. And I'm at work.
Oh,
man. But I tell you what, that's all right. What I'm gonna do is, because I know I'm gonna be busy, I'm gonna watch the live stream tonight. I want to type in something. I just want to see how y'all respond and what y'all think about the NFL being rigged.
Hey, go ahead.
So y'all, all right. Basically, what I said, I know I got to go back to work. I think all sports are rigged. Scenarios I want to bring up in the late '80s when San Francisco had the earthquakes. You know they don't want San Francisco to bomb as a city. All of a sudden, you had the San Francisco 49ers winning Super Bowls. We learned the Oakland Athletics and the San Francisco Giants were in the World Series as it was happening. All of a sudden, the Lakers took over Boston. And you also learned about Wayne Gretzky. Hockey was never big in the United States until then. Moved to the 90s with the Gulf War, the Persian Gulf War, or Desert Storm, whichever one it was. All of a sudden, you got the Cowboys running off Super Bowls back to back to help bring money into the economy, with Texas being Bell Helicopter and those kind of companies that build those war machines. Then fast forward to you always hear people say New Orleans, Katrina, and then they won a Super Bowl. In the earlier 2000s, you had Florida come up with 2 baseball teams after Hurricane Andrew, and those baseball teams started winning World Series. You had the Jacksonville Jaguars, and all of that start going on when they start winning. Fast forward to the 9/11 tragedy. The Eagles, the New England Patriots, the Boston Bruins, the Pittsburgh Penguins in hockey. I'm just saying how I feel like that's how they funnel money into area. Detroit has been a cellar dweller. You don't have to win the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl. I'm just saying how they funnel money and excitement into your town so it generates money for a town.
Right.
Y'all take it away.
Hey, man, no, that's yeah, I feel you on that one. But man, what you're talking about, man, is one of the situations where it's like yeah, I can see the league doing their thing as far as, trying to upbuild cities and all this stuff going on in the government and war stuff like that. But as it relates to the players, how do the players buy into this?
Like with everything, with money and incentives. The players gonna play a certain way with incentives. Coaches are gonna coach a certain way with incentives, and it's stuff that the common or naked eye just won't readily recognize. I just believe.
So now I've always believed that the NFL was rigged. I mean, I've always have believed that, or just when I say I believe it's rigged, it's not like I believe that, like it's easy to, like I told earlier, it's easy to believe that a league is rigged when your team is losing in the way your team lost, kind of like how the Cowboys lost badly and stuff like that. Looking at Baltimore losing to Kansas City, and obviously when it come down to Detroit had a big lead on San Francisco, and they just turned around and almost like somebody told them, you forgot your check. You know what I'm saying? In the locker room, you forgot what the deal was. I do believe that the league has, and you've been saying this a lot, I do believe the league has always told us that they've tried to control the narrative, and it's all the things about money. It goes all the way back to when we looked at what happened with college, right? With Florida State not getting in there. They didn't want that particular team in there because it wasn't going to be a good show. So now this is the NBA, NFL's version of having San Francisco and Patrick Mahomes, the young Brock Purdy and that team over there going against Super Bowl champs Patrick Mahomes. Is this kind of what you're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I'm gonna borrow this from Shannon Sharp. He brought up a valid point. I mean, it's the reason Taylor Swift, they're showing her so much. I mean, essentially, you get 10,000, 20, 30, 40,000 young teenagers, girls that have never watched football before to at least watch the Super Bowl just to watch Patrick Mahomes and become his fan. You know, that very well adds another $1 billion to their industry. It's sports entertainment. It's WWE. It's the same thing. It's all the same thing.
Man, that is so crazy because I thought about that. I saw the argument that Chad and Unc was having when it came down to, you know, say the Beyonce and the Taylor Swift situation, and Unc was saying that Taylor Swift can do what Beyonce couldn't do, and that's to bring a different fan base to the league. And I agree with that on so many levels, but I think Beyonce could bring a fan base to the league that the league haven't seen, but not quite as Taylor. And I don't want to say that Taylor is better than Beyonce or Beyonce is better than Taylor, but I do agree with the idea that Taylor can reach an audience for the NFL that no other superstar or pop star at this moment can do, which brings up the great point you said. This is the reason why Baltimore couldn't beat Kansas City, sadly. Max, you got something to add?
My narrative to this whole NFL is rigged type of deal. I'm thinking from a player's point of view. You had Tom Brady come in and dominate. Now you're having Patrick Mahomes come in and dominate after him. It seems to me like they're trying to do what the NBA had with the whole who's the real GOAT in our sport, pretty much. Who's the LeBron in our sport and who's the Michael Jordan in our sport? Talking about who's the real GOAT, we will never know, but it's always going to bring up that conversation of who will be the GOAT of the NFL. They're pushing Patrick Mahomes down to us, and I don't know why, man. They're just marketing, and we see him in commercials all the time now, so I feel like the league is pretty much trying to basically copy the NBA debate of who's the real GOAT. Is it going to be Tom Brady or is it Patrick Mahomes, you know?
Hey, G.
Yeah.
So this a narrative? G done cut himself off. But no, that he'll be back in a little bit. But yo, that's Max, that's a great point. That is a great point because he's coming back. Hey G, but to Max's point, is this the to Max's point, are they doing Patrick Mahomes the same way they did Tom Brady?
Yes, they're doing him the same way that they did Jay-Z. When Tupac dies, they tell you Jay-Z is the GOAT. How many people can you walk around and they're saying that Jay-Z is the GOAT can go right there in their car and pull out a Jay-Z CD or something? He's not the GOAT.
That's true. Now, can Patrick Mahomes? How long will this last? You think of Patrick Mahomes being the front runner, being the guy?
It will last until they find somebody else that looks like Superman.
Now, one of the guys who was on last week made a comment about Josh Allen, said they wanted Josh Allen to be in that spot, but obviously he wasn't good enough to take it.
Josh Allen, Josh Allen will be he will be very very popular. He won't be the GOAT. Nothing. Who goes to Buffalo? What's in Buffalo? What can they sell in Buffalo?
Buffaloes, I guess.
Right, right. You see what I'm saying? The reason Patrick Mahomes can do it is because they can't let back to the narratives. They can't let Andy Reid go out. They still need another. They're going to need another Bill Belichick.
Unless he retired, because that's on the table. He may retire.
Absolutely. If he retires,
yeah,
they can push the Andy Reid narrative and the Patrick Mahomes narrative.
Man, it's
absolutely.
So
now, while this is my last thing, and I'm gonna go back to work. This is why the narrative is always going to be Lamar Jackson and can't do such. Dak Prescott sucks and he does this. And Tony Romo, let's not forget Tony. Everybody thought while they patting Tony Romo on his back, he's Superman. When he's messing up at the end of the game, he's Antonio. You see what I'm saying? He becomes a Hispanic then, and now we can't sell this because we trying to build a wall and all this all kind of. It's a narrative. Yeah. It's an absolute narrative. The minority guy is going. He's going to get closer. It's going to be a feel good story that you want to root on. You're going to continue to put your money into it, and it's going to draw you into it. But they're going to put the money where they need it. And I'm not saying necessarily. Of course, Tom Brady makes a lot of money, but he didn't make as much money as that whole Eastern Seaboard.
Right. But hey, G man, thanks for coming on. You gotta get back to work. Before you go, who you got winning the Super Bowl?
Kansas City, for the exact same reasons I'm telling you.
Yeah, there it is. All right, man. G, thanks for jumping on, man. I know you gotta get on back in there, man. Thanks for coming.
Man, I'm glad. Thanks for having me, man. Y'all keep the show going, man. When I get off work, I'm gonna rewatch the whole thing. I love what you're doing, E.
I mean, I appreciate it, man.
I'm gonna add you on Facebook. I seen you on there finally. I got you.
All right.
Hey, y'all take care.
All right, one time. Wow, man, that was a great perspective he had as far as the league controlling the narrative to make more money. This Super Bowl, and what adds to the question, is the NFL rigged? And it's almost like, man, you bring in more money. I mean, it just makes sense, and I think it all started with Dan Orlovsky's take on Lamar Jackson. We talked about it last podcast, but the fact that he threw it out there that Lamar Jackson is too hood or too, the way he look is not fitting for the Super Bowl. Definitely with it being a Super Bowl MVP, highly want to go to a quarterback, and they just didn't want to see him be that guy. And the same way they did Marshawn Lynch, and that's the reason why they didn't give him the ball to run it in. They threw it to they tried to put it in Russell Wilson's hands. And this is a shame. This is sad. This is sad. Am I mad that Kansas City is in there? No, not really. But I wish it could have been Detroit and Baltimore. I wish you could. It's kind of like with the NBA last year when they had Miami and Denver. Like nobody wanted to see that series, right? But at the end of the day, you was glad, right, that it wasn't, a Lakers or Golden State up in there or Boston up in there, or one of those teams like that who constantly always have. It was good to see those teams up in there, and obviously Denver did their thing, and but the NFL, I don't know, they're making money now. Let's say Taylor Swift breaks over Travis Kelce, and she go date an NBA player. Will they make it to the finals?
Well, there's a crazy rumor out there that all these Taylor Swift fans put out there talking about if Kansas City wins this game, they win the Super Bowl. Travis Kelce is gonna pop the question live TV after they win the Super Bowl and see what she says. I don't know why, man.
I saw that, man. This is too soon. This is not something that we want to see as sports fans. Y'all just started dating. It just makes absolutely no sense. Now, no, if they feel like they love each other enough to go ahead and cross through that threshold, you know, here's the deal. I'm about to make a bold statement right here, right? So when we had the Black Lives Matter initiative in saying and social justice, awareness in the NFL, right? NFL lost a lot of its customers. People didn't want to watch. It all started with, NFL. It all started when it got down to um, the NFL's comments about how they handle Kaepernick, right? So you lost a lot of black customers from the league. By the way, the league handled Colin Kaepernick, right? So I got friends that I know of who's never watched NFL since then. Then you go into, okay, now the NFL and Roger Goodell is trying to grab back those fan base, right? And so they go around and allow the guys to wear Black Lives Matter on the helmet and then whatever they want to wear, Black Lives Matter on the field in some stadiums and stuff like that. And then you lost a lot of your white fan base who just, and one of the statements I heard a guy say, he said, I don't want to turn on Sunday and watch football and see politics, because that's what he dressed it as, being politics. And of course, I had a lot to say to this guy. We went back and forth. Is that it wasn't politics? It's just this is a platform that needed that. This is the best platform to get this awareness out of, right? Because these guys, the product is pretty much all African American, mostly African American players out there that pretty much drive the money for this league, and they have a voice too, right? You don't get to silence them because you don't want to hear it, right? That's not fair. Now that's dealing with a whole nother juggernaut, right? Social injustice. Now we got this whole goddamn, oh man, you know how Taylor Swift is. She is pretty much the Bachelorette. She go from dude to dude to dude, and this is Travis Kelce's turn right now. And if they don't work out, it will be a song written, right? I don't agree with the people stepping away from the sport because, saying the social injustice awareness that the league allowed to have. But I don't like this whole, I'm tired of seeing Taylor Swift every time Kansas City do something. It just is, you got parents out there who don't get much airtime. You see what I'm saying? Wives and girlfriends, true wives don't get this much airtime, but Taylor Swift get it because she's Taylor Swift. The president winning well to a game don't get this much press. You know what I'm saying? And I know what it is. It's to market. I can hear a little 6-year-old girl scream right now, oh, Taylor Swift calling, texting all her friends and saying Taylor Swift is on the TV.
and what's surprising is that most of these people saying they're Taylor Swift fans don't even like her music, man. They're just there because this game pushed down our throats. Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, that's what making the league not fun to watch, man. But I think we finished up with the AFC NFC division. What are your takeaways from the Detroit Lions and San Francisco game?
Well, I feel Dan Campbell, he's the solution to Detroit, but he's also the problem in Detroit. Why?
Yeah.
Because I feel like his ego got the best of him. He made very poor decisions in the second half because just because of who he is like, play smart football, man. Don't get emotional. Emotions always cloud your mind. Just do the right thing, man.
Man, I love that, Kel. But this is one thing that we don't see often in coaches is that, especially you see it a lot in the NBA. You see a lot in the NBA where coaches like, this is my style. We're not changing from it. You know what I'm saying? Mike D'Antoni's score within 10 seconds, 10 seconds or less scoring. You know what I'm saying? Never got him to a finals, but he never pulled up on that. You know what I'm saying? And so Popovich, the way he structures his team, you know what I'm saying, balancing everybody out. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's above the team. We don't have superstars down in San Antonio. You know what I'm saying? You're still a team player. You know what I'm saying? He won his chips from it, but it's kind of been under the radar these last few years. But with Dan Campbell, he gonna authentically, unapologetically be Dan Campbell. You know, that's just where he is, and I can appreciate that out of him. Right, was all he gonna do is go in the offseason and build better plays for fourth down. You know, you guys had one with the brotherly shove that worked every time. Dan Campbell is going to do the exact same thing. He's going to go out there and find a fourth down play that can work every single time. He's not going to stop being Dan Campbell. He's still going to go for it on the fourth down. He's going to find a play that's going to work for him. You know what I'm saying? That's who he is. That, you know what I'm saying? Mike Tomlin is another one who has a game plan. I can't wait to see what he does with this new team. There are rumors that they may be trying to go get Russell Wilson. We don't know for sure. But even if Mason Rudolph end up being the starter of their team, I just can't wait to see what Mike Tomlin put out there. They're going to be I think they're going to be a top contender in that division come next year. They're not going to be a pushover. But it did hurt to see them lose that lead. You know, you're talking about winning the whole game, and then with 18 minutes left to go in the game, you guys are tied. 18 minutes. It was 3 minutes left in the third quarter. They're tied. And at that point, Dan Campbell started doing Dan Campbell stuff. It's just like, man, this is an 18-minute game. And then they just couldn't stop San Francisco. San Francisco had the momentum.
And
Go ahead.
this is a perfect example of how you lose a locker room. Because if he brings the same concept next season, and it turns out the same way where you lose the players the game because of your ego and who you are. Sooner or later, some of the players are gonna be like, "Well, I don't want to play for this guy because what's the point of me giving it 100% if he just gonna wipe it clean because he has big balls and a big ego. He wants to run it his way." No, man, take the points when you have it.
But man, listen to those players talk about him. I mean, they're saying this is the best coach they ever had, that he's built to be a coach. They would not want to play for anybody else other than him, win, lose, or draw. I mean, what his play call on the field is one thing, right? But how he controls the locker room, how he get everybody to buy it is not on it. To him, they don't see it as ego, right? They see that as a guy who loves his team, who loves the city. He played there his last 2 years in the league. Who loves the organization and who loves football. And he embraces those guys. They embrace him. And that's pretty much, that's leadership one-on-one, right? You know, that's different with somebody like a Sean Payton coming in and say, hey, this is going to be in my way, right? He comes in and his emotions at the podium. Of course, we saw him get emotional on his post-conference last week, but a few years ago, I think 2 years ago, it was a game that they was the bad team, but it was a game that they could have won, they lost. And he just there bawling tears, you know what I'm saying? Just bawling tears because he just felt like he said he wanted it for his players. He's like, not for me, I want it for those guys. Because he said all the work they put into it, I want them to see that success. And I think that's what's the driving force behind him being aggressive is he wanted more for the players than himself. And that'll make any player buy in. It's different if a coach wanted for himself versus the players. And then it's like, man, his pride and his ego is leading him because he's looking out for himself. And is not looking out for himself. And that's one thing I love about him on that. Super Bowl. We got the Patriots. We got the 49ers and the goddamn Kansas City Chiefs. We don't
let's talk about that Baltimore Ravens Chiefs game, man.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that one? I just missed that one.
Yes, people say this game was rigged. Yes, there might have been a pass interference call, not called. But in reality, I honestly feel that before this game even started kickoff, Lamar Jackson was already beaten mentally. I feel like he thought that it was Patrick Mahomes that brought up that whole conversation he had earlier in the season where they told him he was gonna play Patrick Mahomes, and he said he didn't necessarily say he was scared, but he said he was gonna watch tape and do whatever he could to beat him. No guarantees type of deal, and feel like mentally he came into this game defeated, and it showed on the field. Other than bomb to say Flowers, he didn't do anything at all. Yes, that
Right.
that pass that got deflected, he caught on his own. Cool highlight reel, but ain't no one gonna remember you because you lost this game.
But see, this is my thing about when I'm looking at a player like a quarterback, right? You're not playing against another quarterback. You're playing against that team's defense. And so, and it's the same way, and it killed me when Dez Bryant, obviously he's a Cowboy story, right? When Dez Bryant, Detroit, and Calvin Johnson was going at it, and Dez Bryant wanted to duel Calvin Johnson. It's like, bruh, he's not a cornerback, he's a receiver. You're not guys down the field at the same time. When the offense is on the field, you have to play the game. You can't play. You want to get more yards in this guy or get more catches and touches and get more touchdowns. That's not the way this game is played. You play what the defense give you, and Dez Bryant showed his tail out, you know what I'm saying, because he didn't get what he wanted, and that's just stupid, you know what I'm saying? So fast forward into now was like, you don't need to watch film on Patrick Mahomes. You need to watch film on the Kansas City defense. That's who you're going against. And like you say, if that played into it, if you're more so worried about what he's going to do on his side of the field, yeah, you're right. He's defeated before you even got into the parking lot. If that's your mentality, you know, and it showed. And you took the words out of my mouth, and I was going to say that Baltimore played afraid. If the league is not rigged, all this stuff we're saying about this team come down. If the league not rigged and people didn't get incentives, but listen, they need to act. Zay Flowers, they need to act like he's been there before, and that's a problem with rookies. You know, you don't take that penalty after making that catch. You just pop your shoulders. You throw the first down signal and you get back in lineup and get back to the huddle. You know what I'm saying? You don't play like you've never been there before. It's not that big of a deal. You're still trying to win a game. You're down. Go ahead.
In his defense, Travis Kelsey was doing the same thing on the opposite team, and he got no calls on that taunting. So I get why people are questioning that call.
This is where, like I said, you got to know the game, right? And that's it's a rookie situation, right? Travis Kelsey is not going to get that call. We saw that early in the game when he pushing the guy and the guy responded and they threw the flag on the guy. In that situation, you have all the referees around because they're right there in the huddle. At that point, you throw a flag on both and you offset the penalty, right? But because they only gave it to one, we saw the direction this game was going, right? We saw the direction it was going. And that's where the coaches, because you have all these coaches, ain't like in the NFL, in the NBA, right? You have, 3 or 4 coaches on the sidelines trying to navigate everything. You got every coach. You have your receiver coach, you have your offensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? You have your assistant coaches that, somebody need to get them and say, listen, what we're not going to do is we're not going to get into this tough guy situation when it comes down to these guys because the ref's going to throw the flag in their favor every single time. Young players, we need every down, every possession, and every second count. You know what I'm saying? And that was just a dumb on his spot. And then you turn around after this very next play, the ball went to him and it hit him in the back because he's fussing with a cornerback. It's like, bro, get back into the game. A few plays after that, we saw what happened, caught the ball. Like, bro, get down. I mean, I know you're trying to make big plays, but you're acting like you haven't been there before. Catch the ball, get down, secure the ball. You know what I'm saying? If you get into the end zone, great. If you don't, then, you know what I'm saying, you try on the next play, but then lose the ball on that possession. It seems so scripted. It seems so scripted. Everything that could went wrong for Baltimore went wrong, and that was just the unfortunate side of it. But everybody plays like they were scared. And, this is going to be the narrative surrounding Baltimore and Lamar Jackson. He can't win big games. So that's unfortunate. I'm still not sold on Kansas City winning it all, but I mean, right now, this is the way it's supposed to be. This is the way the script is written. If they're going to, from somehow, some way, beat the 49ers, as stacked of a team they are, they're going to find a way to beat them. And once again, Patrick Mahomes will be Super Bowl MVP, chasing Brady, and who never know, they may – I don't know, man. Taylor Swift coming on the field was so wild to me. I'm like, I don't know. And y'all let Kevin Hart on the field in Philadelphia, so might as well let Taylor Swift go. But here's the deal: if Kansas City win the Super Bowl, right? When they're doing the presentation, they wouldn't let Kevin get on the stage. Do you think they'll let Taylor Swift get on stage if they win? I don't think. How can you stop Swift getting on stage? Kevin was drunk, and the security guard told him no. This not his time. I don't know, man. Taylor Swift may get on the stage with them. I don't know.
To be fair, if Kevin Hart would have been on that stage, you would have only seen this on the camera because of him being so short. So
Oh man,
they shouldn't allow Taylor Swift up there just because of the media. They'll probably do it just because of the media coverage, but they shouldn't because that's something sacred to just the players and the coaches, man. No one else should be up there but them because that's an accomplishment the team made, not her. She doesn't get on the field and play a single down. She ain't a head coach or anything.
now Usher's doing a halftime performance. Do he bring out Taylor Swift as a special guest?
No.
One pop singer to the next. Like, nah, I don't think they wouldn't be a good match. That'll be so messed up. If they bring her out. That Usher gonna let her upstage him. Ain't no way. All right, man.
They
That's
should
all
do
I have for.
something like they should do something like Post Malone, man.
Right. Well, that's all I have for today's podcast, yo. For those you're watching right now, uh, hopefully, if all goes well, there's another show that starts right after this at 7:00. I'll be talking to Andrew Taylor, USA high jumper, and his journey, as well as Coach Otto, Keith Otto. So join me in the next 10 minutes or so, and we'll jump on another podcast. For that right there, how high? Max, you got any final words for this podcast?
Thank you, Travis Kelsey, because you made it to the Super Bowl. Chase and Kelsey might be back with our team next season. Thank you.
Wow, that's what's up. Hey, that's all I have right now. Yo, stay tuned for the next podcast. And I may be having to change the time. Stay tuned. I'll let you guys know if I have to change the time and date, but stay tuned for more info on that. And it's your boy C22, and we are out.